Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, December 6th, 2015. This is episode 234, and this is Ernest, who wanted to come say hi. He heard the talking. So, as promised last week, Callie is not with us this week. I can talk. Probably should have done some vocal warm-ups before I started this week, huh? He doesn't care. I'm sure you guys don't either. So anyway, as promised, Callie is not with us. She had a graduation to attend, I believe, today, and I was out of town yesterday, so we were unable to link up schedules, but I still would like to put out a quick, short episode for you guys this week to update you on my progress, and lots of prizes pulled before I started recording, so prizes. Alright, let's do a quick week in review. For myself, I taught all week. It was a very, very long week. The weeks seem to be getting longer. It's the same amount of hours, but I don't know what it is. I've got 2 more weeks left, 1 more week of school, and then, I still have school the last week, but it's kind of prep for final exams, and then them taking their exams themselves, and then I am off for 2 weeks for winter break, which is much needed. Yes, it is needed. So for those of you who may be new to the show, thank you for checking me out, and those who are returning, thanks for coming back 1 more week. But if you're new or do not know, I'm actually a high school English teacher in my day job, and also, dye yarn on the side, have a little business with my partner. So those are kind of my 2 jobs right now, and yeah. What I do. So that was pretty much about it. Nothing too exciting throughout the week. Just a lot of come home from teaching and dye yarn and go to bed and do it all over again. So Friday afternoon, my leading man and I hit the road and we traveled to northern Indiana, where his family is from, for one of 2 family gatherings on his side of the family. For Christmas. So we drove up Friday, got up to Indiana, I don't know, about 10:30 their time, about 9:30 our time, and proceeded to pretty much just crash. We were exhausted after a long day of work and then 4 hours in the car. So got up Saturday, and his mom was going to a Christmas bazaar at one of the local churches that had over 80 vendors. So she invited us to go with. We went, and I got my mom some Tastefully Simple beer bread that I know she used to like to make with lemon lime soda, not with beer, but they had somebody there vending that, so I got some of that for Christmas for her. And then we got these cute little Christmas decorations. They're ball jars, like for canning, and somebody had kind of put little old-timey Christmas figurines on the inside with a little bit of cotton balls spread out like snow, and they spray painted some of the fake snow on the inside of the glass, and then they put some kind of like a white paint or dried adhesive on the lid to make it look like the older metal lids, and then they velcroed a little electric tea light that kind of has that candle flickering on the top of the lid, so it's almost like a light from the top and it's flickering, and they were super, super cute. So we got 2 of those to put on our entertainment center, so that was cute. And there was a few other things we were liking, but we were pretty good about things, so that was fun. And then came back, had a little craft afternoon with our niece and nephew, and sister-in-law and Andy and grandma, and we did like garland for the Christmas tree and colored and hung out. And then we took a shower and we went over to his dad's side of the family for Christmas, their Christmas gathering, and it was just kind of a few snacks and some sandwiches and whatnot, and just kind of hanging out. It was actually relatively low-key and relatively quick, so we actually then hit the road again about 5:30, 6 their time, and made it home about 9:15 our time last night. And my mom watched the dogs, and my sister was in town this weekend, so that was good. They were still here watching the dogs when we got home, so that's pretty much been my week. Yeah, we'll be going back to Indiana in 2 weeks for his mom's side of the family, which will be good because then we'll actually give our niece and nephew and the rest of the family gifts. We had a few things for the niece and nephew. We weren't sure if they were doing gifts at this one, and they didn't really focus on that, so we didn't bring in our gifts or anything like that. Anyway, that's enough of my life. I'm sure I'm boring half of you to death. So, let's get to the knitting, shall we? What's taking a bow? I do have a finished object. It may be a toddler size hat, but that's okay. That is okay. So, what I finished this week is the Curolin hat by Delusional Knitter Designs, who the designer is Angela Alves, Alves. And she designed this actually out of Lady Men Fiber Arts Callback, our sport weight base. And I told you last week that I was casting on the toddler size for my niece, Avery. And this is our Avery colorway that was kind of, the colors were, you gonna get down, bud? The colors were selected by Andy's mom, and then once we dyed the yarn, we had her name it, and she named it after Avery. So I knit up the toddler size, and I haven't blocked it yet, but I'm really, really happy with it. Hopefully she'll keep it on her head. We'll see. I don't know. You can see the top there. Very simple. Love the design. And hopefully I'll be contacting Angela and getting the pattern in our booth space for next show season. And I could knit up a third one because you're going to find out I have a second one on the needles, but I may farm that out to a sample knitter just because I've knit two and I'm good with them, but I have to give both of them away. So as you can see there, just a wee little bit hat. And so that's all that I finished this week. But that was knit on a size 3 US, which is a 3.25 millimeter. Again, our callback base in the Avery colorway. And that took 0.34 skein, so just about a third of the skein. So, all right, what's on the needles this week? The first thing is My Portage by Melissa Shashwari. I did not give this as much love as it needed. I'm trying to focus on these hats to get them done, but I maybe got a little bit done. Not as much as I wanted. So, again, it's all bunched up. I'm still working on that button band around the fronts and the collar. I was at 3 inches out of 6 last week, and I'm probably not much farther along than that. So, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. I only have so much time in the day. I've been busy all day today, too. I just sat down and actually watched an hour television show that I've been trying to get caught up with since Wednesday. I said, you know what, I'm going to watch some TV before I record because I would like to relax because I'll be working most of the afternoon on business stuff after this. So, and that was knit on out of Elizabeth LeBold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce, on sizes 5, 6, and 7 US needles. The second thing I did give a lot of love to and from Indiana, and I'm still not done with it, but that would be Polyphony by Sarah Burghardt Abram. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer in Copper Cloud, Eternal Kiss, and Nude Scene. And I've been working on this nude seed for a long time now. Garter, and I still have this much yarn left. So I am hoping it will be done next week, guys. I'm hoping. Again, I can end it wherever, but the pattern's written to use the whole skein, so I want to show, if I'm going to use it as a shop sample, how far a whole skein will take you. So, again, here it is. Look at all that nude scene that's been knit up this week. So, whoosh. So that's that, and that's knit on a size 5 US, which is a 3.75 millimeter. Third is Mix It Up by Jana Huck. I'm using local alpaca that's been mill spun to a fingering weight. One color is their natural white. The second color we dyed in our blue steel colorway. And I'm using a size 3 US on that, which is a 3.25 millimeter needle. And I don't think this got much love either, and I should take the Dicky Doo out, because the Dicky Doo is from like 3 weeks ago now. But all this blue steel, and then all this natural. So, very, very long. But I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there. I'm almost out of yarn, actually, out of the first 2 skeins. So I have another skein of each that I have ready to go. So it's always a fun taking that in and out of the bag because it's knit from both sides, and 2 skeins of yarn working at the same time. It becomes kind of a hot mess putting it in and out of the bag. Next are my Bah Humbug socks, and I am knitting that out of Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns, sport sock in the Bah Humbug colorway, and I have a hoe. It's an unfortunate hoe. So here's the first sock with the afterthought heel already done. And I spoiled the secret and I had Andy try them on. Unfortunately, I thought I knew what I was doing with sport weight, but this came out to just a little too short. Now I understand I can rip out the toe and do blah 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 blah. But I'm really tight on yarn because it's sport weight, and also it's funny because I've knit him sport weight socks before, but he tried it on, I don't know if it's the gauge or what, but he said he's not, because it's a thicker yarn, he doesn't like the pearl bumps inside the sock, because he actually wears his knit socks to work and everything. So he was like, these aren't my favorite in terms of the texture on the inside. So because they're a little small, I'm actually going to be giving them to his mom for Christmas when I go back in 2 weeks. So depending on how quickly I can get these done, you may or may not see them finished, but I will have pictures on my project page when they're done. So I did cast on the second one this week, and I'm about halfway down the leg, and I know what modifications I'll do for the next time I knit sport weight socks to give my foot a little bit more length. I'm going to take 10 rows out of the leg and put it into the foot, because I'm running almost half on the yarn. I want to make sure that I can get a pair out of one skein of sport weight. So, and that's knit on size 2 US, which is a 2.75, I believe. Yep, millimeter needle. Next is another Kirlin hat, Kirlin number 2 by Delusional Knitter Designs. Again, using our callback base in the Avery colorway on size 3 US, which is 3.25 millimeters. And I cast this on this morning, and I'm almost to my inch of the ribbing done. So, there's that. Going. So I'm doing the adult version on this one for Andy's sister-in-law, so that mom and daughter can have matching hats. That's the thought process, at least. So, the last thing I wanted to show you was speaking of watching TV right before I recorded, I did work on my fingering weight Granny Square Afghan, and I joined in a new color, so I figured I would show it to you using a small little crochet hook and working through my scraps. So here's where I'm at right now. I know I have some Eternal Kiss and sport weight. I've got my Ancient Arts that I picked up in New York. I've got some Barocco folio, and then some of our showcase yarn in Wild Goose Chase. So, and I think I'll be adding in some Sophie's Toes in her gray colorway next. So, slowly but surely, just a little bit, but I thought I would show it to you since I changed in a new color. So, all right, that's all that's on the needles and the hook. So, what's in rehearsal? I don't really have much. I do think once I do finish Polyphony, I do think that I am going to cast on one of the Romy Hill designs for the Super Summer Knit Together knit along that's going on, their first one. And I'm going to use 2 skeins of Leading Men Fiber Arts, one in a Director's Interpretation, which is a one-of-a-kind Oops colorway, and then another one in our London Fog colorway. So that'll be that. Alright, what am I spinning? I am still spinning the Three Waters Farm Falkland in the Cool Soil Blue Sky colorway. Again, here's kind of the second 2 ounces. You can see all the lovely colors. And slowly but surely I do a little bit usually in the mornings before I go to work. This is what I have left of the first 2 ounces. So it's going. Not a whole lot of speed there, but just been really busy with a lot of different things, but it's a good busy, I guess. So that's all that I'm spinning. I'm doing that as a 2-ply fractal spun. Alright, in the spotlight, what am I watching and reading? I just caught up with American Horror Story Hotel. They had taken a week off, so they came back this week and I caught up with it. There's kind of a big reveal this week, and I was like, saw that coming. Didn't really shock me all that much. I think we may have watched an episode or 2 of House of Cards, so we should be getting to the middle or latter part of Season 2. And still have not finished Hemlock Grove Season 3. I have like a half hour left of the last episode. And last week I talked about that I thought that the season was coming to an end. I did do some research, and yes, it was canceled even before Season 3 filmed, but they had given them Season 3, but knowing that it wasn't going to be picked up for a 4th season. I am watching The Walking Dead. I watched that last week without Andy. He did not want to watch it anymore. He has officially walked away from The Walking Dead due to the turnout of the incident with Glenn's character, so he's done with that. We still have not started watching Into the Badlands. Maybe this week? I don't know. Reading. I did finish 2 books. I finished The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This is a YA book about aliens taking over Earth and eradicating the human race. When the book picks up, there has been 4 waves of, killing off the human race, and this is kind of what becomes the 5th wave. And of course leaves you, with a cliffhanger, not a cliffhanger, but kind of a open to a sequel, and I think they're out. In fact, one of my kids said that they heard that they were making a movie out of it. I gave it like 3 stars. I didn't think it was outrageously good, but it was okay. I don't know. I'm trying to read more YA, but they all are kind of the same. Anyway. I also finished Awoken, the Lucidites book #1 by Sarah Noffke. I did not care for this book. I gave it 2 stars. I did not care for the protagonist. I did not care for how much she whined and complained and overreacted to everything, which maybe teenage girls do, and maybe that's why I shouldn't read books with teenage girl protagonists. But then, she couldn't see what was right in front of her, and falling in love with 2 different guys, and yet she's been... It had a lot of almost Native American folklore tendencies to it. Basically, the protagonist was selected to become a challenger to challenge an evil villain. There are people who are dream walkers, dream travelers, who can travel in their dreams to anywhere, and there's somebody... called Zhuang, who is pretty much causing destruction to people while they sleep and causing diseases and things like that, and stealing people's consciousness and all this stuff. So she has been chosen to train and challenge him, and so I've never read The Hunger Games, but maybe a little bit like that. Again, they're all kind of melding together. I don't know. Anyway, so I picked up 2 new books since I finished 2. I'm listening in my car. I'm listening to Unleashed, the Voodoo Plague Book 1 by Dirk Patton. And I think there's a lot in the series. However, I'm pretty sure Audible only carries the first book. This was one of their, get it for $3.95 or something, and I'm enjoying it. The narrator's a little more monotone than I like him. He's alright. But basically the first book, it's about this nerve gas plague that takes over, and it's been attacked to all major cities on one night, and it pretty much turns people into zombies, and them fighting them off. So it's a short book. It's like 6 hours and something. I'm probably 2 hours into it, so. And then I picked up Dr. Sleep by Stephen King out of my high school's library, and it's alright. It's actually a sequel to The Shining. I did not know that he wrote a sequel. We'll see. I'm like 50 pages into it. There's not been a whole lot to been explained. Basically, we're following the son who survived in The Shining. I haven't watched the movie in forever, and I've never read the book, so kind of going into this fresh without as much prior knowledge. I mean, I've kind of got the basics down, but I'll let you know what I think when I finish that. It's a rather long book, and I only read it, 30 minutes a day while I'm reading with my kids, so might take me a little while to get through that one. No book reviews and no stash enhancement. I've been a good boy lately, so we'll see after this weekend when I do my trunk show with 1,000 Skeins of Madeline Tosh also showing up in said store. We'll see. All right, a round of applause. We have a giveaway, several giveaways. The first is for the pattern Color Tracks by Melissa Transtrom, who is Meltrans Designs on Ravelry. And she designed it using either Fibernymph Dyeworks Cozy Base, which is worsted weight, 2 skeins, or 2 half skeins you could do. I know Fibernymph is putting out kits for the hat. And then another option is one of our mini skein sets, and you hold the fingering weight held double, and you can use 5 different colors. So we have some mini skein sets in our shop, and she generously offered a copy of the pattern to give away on the podcast. So we ran the contest for the last week. I closed and locked the thread and pulled a winner right before I recorded. And the winner was number 32, who was Bina Knits, and that's Sabrina from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she said, I would want to go super scrappy. In fact, she says she liked one of the Spotlight mini skeins that we had in our shop currently. So Sabrina, congratulations. If you would please email me Dramatic Knits on Ravelry and let me know, yay, I won. I will then congratulate you and email Melissa, and she will gift you a copy of the pattern. So thank you to everyone who entered to win, and congratulations to Sabrina. And again, thank you to Melissa for donating a copy. I do want to remind you that we have a coupon code to Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns, good until the end of the year, so the end of this month. You can get 10% off of your order with the coupon code DramaticKnits10. Dramatic Knits is all in caps, 10. That'll get you 10% off your entire purchase through the end of the year. So again, thank you, Katie, for providing us with that coupon code. I do want to remind you, because I'm not participating, I tend to forget, especially when I record by myself, but I remember to leave myself a note. We do have a toy knit-along currently going on, so any toys that you cast on, stuffies, whatever, on or after November 1st, 2015, and finish on or before December 31st, 2015, you can enter to get a chance for wonderful prizes. What those will be, I don't think we've chosen yet, but you're not doing it for the prizes, right? So, but you'll be entered to win some prizes. if you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts in any part of your toy, you can get 2 entries into the drawing. You can post your finished object picture twice. We do have a chatter thread where you can talk about your progress, ask questions, things like that. But you do need to post your picture in the FO thread, no chatter, in order to be eligible to win. You also must be a member of the group and, of course, fall within those dates. If you would, also post a picture of your finished object into the chatter thread so people can, give you a pat on the back and be an ooh and ah over your finished object. So if you have any questions about that, you can email Callie, which is Callisters on Ravelry, and she will answer those for you. All right, November has come to a close. We are now firmly into December, and so I have drawn some prizes for the November Race to the Finished Object contest. So the first prize that we had for November was a beautiful shawl pin from Artfully Wrapped on Etsy, and it's a hand-turned wire shawl pin, and here's her information. If it'll focus. There we go. And so Christine is the proprietress behind Artfully Wrapped, and she generously donated this to the podcast while we were vending at the Fall Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And so I pulled for a winner. And the winner was number 253, who is Brunswick Knitter, and that is Luann from Brunswick, Maine. And she did some Christmas gift socks. So congratulations to Luann. Luann, if you would please email me on Ravelry, Dramatic Knits, with your first and last name and mailing address. I will get this out to you in this nice little box as well as soon as I get your address. So congratulations. The second winner wins a pattern of your choice from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. And you can look through anything that she has giftable through Ravelry and let me know what you would like, and I will email Megan and she will gift you the pattern. So the winner of our pattern prize for November was number 285, who is E. Kate Rin for Love, who is Christine from Nuremberg, Germany. So congratulations, Christine. And she knit herself a lace weight sweater, the Lil T, Litee. And it was beautiful on her. It was beautiful moss green. And so, Christine, please let me know what pattern you would like from Megan Sanders' Ravelry store, and I will say congratulations and email her, and she will gift it to you. And thank you to everyone who entered their finished objects. You all are doing amazing work. Our numbers are going up in participation, so I know that the holidays are right around the season, or right around the corner. Anyway, so that being said, we do have the December Race to the Finished Object contest currently going on. You must be a member of the group in order to be eligible to win. You can post a picture of any finished object that you finish in the month of December. It doesn't have to be started in the month of December, but it must be finished in the month of December. You only get one post per finished object, no matter what yarn you use. And yeah, I think that's it. So our Yarny prize this month is a wonderful skein of self-striping yarn from Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns. This is her twist sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards in the Depths of Space colorway. So it's a lighter, darker blue and black. And with that, you'll get a nice little goodie bag with a row counter, stitch marker, candy, and some tea. So that'll be December's Yarny prize. And we'll also have a pattern from our featured designer, again, who is Megan Sanders. So those will be our prizes for December. All right, before we go on to Center Stage, All Things Leading Men Fiber Arts, I did have to redraw once again because I still have not heard from the second winner of the Breathless Kush by Shalimar Yarns. So I redrew for a third winner. So we'll see if the third time's a charm to see if we hear from this winner. If I pull your name, I pulled from the same thread that I had locked after we pulled for this about 2 months ago. But if I call your name this time, you will have a month, or you'll have until January 1st to contact me. If I don't hear by January 1st, the first recording we do in January, I'll pull for a fourth winner because I'm determined to give this yarn away. So we have a wonderful skein of the Breathless Kush, which is 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk, 145 yards of a bulky weight. And then I also was throwing in my leftovers, 40 grams or 50 yards of the Neptune colorway that I knit a cowl out of. So I redrew, and the winner this time is number 99 from that thread, who is Brandy Sears, and that is Brandy from Lexington, Michigan. And the colorway she really liked was Land Katie Scarlet. But that's not this, but you still get to play with the yarn. So, Brandy, if you're listening, if you're watching, please contact me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, with your first and last name and mailing address, and I'll get this out to you as soon as I can. Again, Brandy, you have until January 1st, the first recording in January, before I will redraw and then send this out to a new person. So, that's that. All right. So, let's move into center stage. If you're not interested in anything regarding Leading Men Fiber Arts, I say adieu for now, and we will see you next week when hopefully Callie will be back with me. Yeah. So, center stage, what's going on? I do want to remind you that we have our December colorway of the month currently up for pre-orders. That is Complete Imagination. And make sure you take a look at the pictures. I forgot to grab a skein to bring it up with me, but there was a slight difference in what I showed you last week, which was the first initial test skeins, and what was actually dyed up by Andy. He changed a little bit of the technique, so it was a little more bluer in tones than pink, but again, it's kind of a randomness dye technique, so there are warnings in the listing that say your color, your skin may vary a little bit between what you're picturing or what you're seeing and what you get. So just be aware of that. But those pre-orders will be open through December 8th. So Tuesday, December 8th, Wednesday morning, I will close and take those out of the shop. Sorry, my lighting's going. It had a little more light, and now it's raining. So that's that, I guess. So December colorway, check that out. Don't forget, this weekend, December 12th, I will be at the Hand Dyed Holiday, where we will have Leading Men Fiber Arts as a trunk show, along with Zen Yarn Garden's trunk show, and just under 1,000 Skeins of Madeline Tosh coming into Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois. She will have, of course, everything in her shop there, but she's getting a few things specialty into the shop, those being the trunk shows. The Madeline Tosh will be there no matter what, but she's getting a large shipment which will premiere on the 12th. So she'll be open from 10 to 4. I will be there all day. I think Andy is coming now to help me set up, and then will pick me back up and help me tear down. So you may catch him if you're there right at the beginning or towards the end. I know that a few of you have reached out and said that you will be there, and I'm really excited for you guys to be there. And if you want to just jump in and stop in and say hi and check out the store, I would love to see you there. So again, that'll be Saturday, December 12th, this Saturday, from 10 to 4 at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois. And I think that's it. I don't really have any more new shows to talk about. I told you about one last week. I do have a few things to show you that we updated to the shop. So I'll show those to you quickly. We have a director's interpretation on Dramaturg. This was what I showed you last week as the Complete Imagination. Take all this purple and make it into more of a blue. And that's kind of the new director's interpretation. This was a little too far off for my liking from what is kind of the new Complete Imagination, so I named it a director's interpretation. So there's one skein on DK available as a director's interp, never to be repeated again. Complete Imagination will be similar, but on Ghostlight, our lace weight base, which is 875 yards of superfine merino and silk, we have a skein of industrial. So it's a dark blue. Sorry, my camera is not wanting to focus today. It is a dark blue with hints of silver and maroon undertones to it. Also on box office, our worsted weight, we have Darkest Hour, which is a black, a semi-solid black. I have Blue Steel on box office, worsted weight. I have some Pink Lemonade on. It is not that pink. That's a little better. This is on box office as well. And then on Showstopper, or 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon, we have a skein of Country Road and a skein of Poison Ivy. So, just a little bit added to the shop this week. You can find the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. If you want to stay up to date as to what's been updated to the shop, the best place to follow us is Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram, or to like our Leading Men Fiber Arts Facebook page. You can also join our Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group as well. If you're watching the show on iTunes, please leave a star rating or a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, I'd appreciate a thumbs up on this episode. And if you will hit subscribe right down below, I'd appreciate that as well. And, of course, you can always find the show and show notes at dramaticknits.com. So until next week, we'll be able to give you a recap of our trunk show experience, and Callie will be back to tell you about her last 3 weeks. I hope you knit something dramatic.